Welcome to Drone Brothers Radio, where we explore the crossroads of drone innovation and the construction industry. Join us as we share insights, stories, and strategies shaping the future from the sky and the ground up.
Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate this.
Yeah,
Let's start off. You want to give me a quick introduction of yourself and the name of the company that you work for?
All right. Well, my name is Jacob Hijlkema. I'm a VDC Engineer with Pogue Construction. I was born and raised in the Netherlands, and I moved to Texas in October 2023, and have a bachelor's degree in architectural engineering. I used to work for an architect and a structural engineer before this. I got about 10 to 11 years of work experience, and just now here at Pogue for about 2 years now.
So how did you, tell me how this thing went from the Netherlands to the United States? That's a big jump across the pond. So how did that happen?
It is. Well, my wife is American. We got married 8 years ago, and we lived in the Netherlands for 7 years together, and we always wanted to go back to the U.S. Just love the country and I love being here, so decided to build our future here with our kids. So.
Oh, fantastic. How many kids?
Yeah, we got 2.
You're originally born and raised in the Netherlands?
Yes, that's correct. Yep. I still have all my family there, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So what led? Talk to me about how the team at Pogue, how did you guys get started with drones? Kind of what led your team to explore drone technology? Was that before you started? Were they drones already?
Our department was started by Blake Grunwald. He was recruited to launch a VDC department about 3.5 years ago, and the company's president wanted to transform the workflows and strengthen our market competitiveness, because some of the projects were being awarded to competitors offering drone services and reality capture. So that's why Blake was recruited, and about 2 years ago, I got recruited as well to assist him in that and to start building from there. And currently we're at 5 employees for our team, so growing.
Fantastic. Now, I don't know the stat on it. Maybe I don't know if you know the stat, but what percentage would you say of GCs across the country have a VDC department? Is that in today's day and age? You guys started 3 years ago. Do you think most GCs have a VDC department, or is that a luxury?
I think the larger contractors definitely have these departments. I think the smaller contractors probably don't, but all the larger players definitely have their own departments, and some of them have VDC people on site, and some of them have like just at their office. So there's different scales of that, of course, but we see it more like the larger contractors.
Got it. And I like the fact that you said that it's a competitive advantage. How do you? Yeah, we're always trying to tell that story to our clients of that you're not doing this just to document the site and have all this data and analytics, but this is truly a competitive advantage, because what you're saying is you guys were losing gigs to other companies that were providing this because you guys weren't. That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So part of it is actually offering the services, but then also actually using it. So I think that's where we really set ourselves apart right now, is to actually show the client that we're using it, and the client, involving the client in that process as well. So they also have access to our reality capture platform, and they can see everything we do. So that's just been a huge plus to have, to be able to involve your clients in that as well.
Our clients obviously are getting smarter over time, so they're demanding this stuff now, versus GCs kind of learning this stuff and having to educate their clients. Where do you see the trend in this space? Are more clients educated on this stuff by themselves, or you have to still educate them and explain to them what these drones do?
I think a lot of clients, and even our architects, we show them what we can do, and as stuff gets pulled up into meetings, as people start to see the data that we're actually capturing, and we're seeing that, we're seeing the relationship improve with the clients too. And also in our pursuits, for example, we use drone captures, preliminary shots of sites, or we'll go out there. So we're really setting ourselves apart that way too. We do in-house visualization and really try to bring the client on on that journey of like what is your site going to look like.
And so the do you guys have a new business development team there as well, that so they know that these tools are available, or you guys are acting kind of as the new business development?
We're part of that.
Yeah.
Like we're being like our marketing team will use us for anything they need for visualization. So we're always in concordance with our marketing department.
Awesome. And do you, in your opinion, is the VDC the spot that should own drones at a GC? Is that where the drones should naturally fall?
I think what provides good consistency is our team. So if you don't have like somebody that drives the workflow, so requiring certain things, finding new innovation, new technology, having your hardware up to date. So I think it really, us providing the capture for the teams just helps get the same data across all projects, instead of somebody over at this project, he does it this way, and then somebody else at the other project maybe only flies once a month or takes whatever they need. So we really provide a consistent flow of data that is consistent across the board as well.
Nice. So what kind of drone services, who are you using for software right now? I would imagine Drone Deploy is the
correct. Yeah,
the best
we're
in the
solely
space?
yeah, we're using DJI drones, and then we're using the Drone Deploy platform for the aerial capture, but also for ground capture. So we use that for 360 walks and we try to capture everything within one platform to also keep it simple for the field teams to not have to switch between platforms. So we're really heavy on Drone Deploy right now.
Yeah, good company. I'm here. You're speaking at the Horizons event. They put on a good show, and I can't wait to be out there. And
I'm excited for that too.
I'll be sipping margaritas by the beach with you in another 30 days. So
let's do it.
That's good. Can you give us some examples of how kind of drones are being used right now for progress tracking, kind of quality assurance, safety? Give us some examples of how you're using drones in the day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So currently the core focus is aerial mapping, getting consistent maps. The other option is safety monitoring. So we're trying to get multiple departments to look at the same data. So one of those is just pictures, but also we'll have the safety team look at like trenches, for example. We can see elevations on our map, so we can see how deep is a trench. Do we need any barricades there? So there's that safety element that we start to bring into our process right now. And then additionally, we have the corner shots, like our traditional corner shots, I would call them. Those are being taken on a weekly basis, for example. Kind of all features that Drone Deploy offers, we try to utilize. So panoramas as well, videos. So all those things we're trying to incorporate in the process.
Perfect. What do you want to talk about your drone team? How many pilots do you guys have with the company, or who flies consistently for you?
We're at 6. So we got 6 guys on our team. We all have our Part 107 certificate, and then we have one dedicated pilot who flies on a consistent basis. He drives all around the DFW Metroplex to capture most sites, and then on the side of that, we also have DJI docks, so autonomous drones that are stationed on site, and we can operate those from the office.
And yeah, and I think you told me in past comments you guys have not just dock. I mean, you got multiple. You got a lot of docks. How many do you guys have backed up at the warehouse waiting to be put on site?
So we currently have 3 deployed, and we have another 10 sitting in the warehouse ready to get installed. So we're rolling those out in the next few weeks. We're going to start installs. Wow.
So you want to talk about some of the advantages of the DJI docks? What's the advantages of these docks, and are there any disadvantages that you're finding in using the docks?
I think the biggest advantage is taking out travel time. So not having to have somebody drive to a site and then go from there, drive back, like do the flight and then come back and then upload the data. So it really gives us a time advantage, plus availability. Availability is one of the bigger ones as well. So in the spring, I remember there was some heavy rain that we had, and the field team called me. They were not even on site. They're like, "Hey, can you quickly check if there's any water damage that we need to assess?" Or so they had me fly around the site. So it's just just an on-demand availability, and nobody has to go and drive out there to see to go and fly. You can just do the click of a button from your office to go and see what's going on.
What you're saying is eventually you guys have 10 of these boxes on 10 sites around your area. You
Yes.
you and your team could literally sit at your desk, log into any single box you want, and
Correct.
does it go out on an autonomous mission and capture stuff, or can you literally take it and do a manual flight and go if you need to look at something on the roof or do a quick facade inspection or capture a few videos? You can do that. All can be done remotely.
So yes, on the manual control, you can manually operate it through it's called DJI Flight Hub, and additionally, you can schedule flights for it to do it by itself, but we currently don't do that. We only monitor, uh, like we have all pre-configured flights like you do in your regular DJI app, but we run everything like through supervision. We don't look at it, like we don't let it go without supervision.
Got it. Wow, it's amazing where this stuff is going. Do you see? Well, we'll get into the future stuff in a couple of minutes. Because I love to hear what you think where things are going to go in the
Hmm.
future. So the
Yeah.
other part of this is the 360 cameras. You want to talk to me about how 360 cameras are being used? I know Drone Deploy's got their ground solution. How are you guys using 360 cameras, and how are they benefiting your team?
Yeah, so we're pretty fresh on the 360 cameras. We've had the cameras for a while, but our leadership team is seeing the benefits of it on the safety side. So Drone Employ has a module called Safety AI, and that allows the imagery to be analyzed, and any OSHA violations will get flagged through that. So what it does, it'll send you a report after your walk, and that report gets sent to whoever wants to receive it. And it just shows us a snippet of what is being captured. So, like a fire extinguisher is not elevated, like not on a pedestal, or there's no barricade, or there's no rebar caps, anything like that. It captures that and it reports on that within Drone Deploy. And then that's one of the biggest uses we have right now. And then within Drone Employee, you also have the BIM compare, so you can compare it against your BIM model to see what is there, how it's installed versus how it was designed, and just progress tracking. So I even see use of it like as an as-built capture. Let's say there's a leak at some point and somebody is calling like, "Hey, I'm in this room. There's a leak," and the warranty department wants to know where is this what is in this room. They can literally pull up Drone Deploy and go back in time and see what is installed, if there's roof drains, or if there's, so they know who to call really. So
Okay.
that really gives us multiple layers of insight on the inside of the building where the drone can't fly.
Now, is Safety AI, is that beta or is that live and out there and they've got
It's
it
live and going. Yeah,
it's going. It's the real
yes,
thing.
yes. And then currently we are in a beta on Progress AI, so it can also use that same imagery and then analyze what the status of completion is in a room. And it does it based on machine learning, so it has an idea of what a complete room looks like, and it can recognize certain elements in the room. It'll give you like a progress over time of the like a drywall, for example. They start drywall and then they know after like 2 walks to see the drywall is fully covered in the room, so that it'll report on that as well. And there's like, that's still pretty early stages. I know Drone Employee is working on rolling that out. So well, we haven't used that module too much yet. It's mainly the Safety AI, and then just using it to, if you're doing punch or just seeing without even having to walk in the building, see who's working where, what areas are complete. So this gives us, it's really just another layer of insight on the inside of your building.
That's great. Yeah, I saw a demo of Safety or Progress AI in Chicago a couple weeks ago, a Drone Deploy demo day, or they had going on at the Advancing Construction show. And it's impressive because it tries to keep everyone online of where people are going to overlap. Are the drywalls guys waiting for the electrical guys, or the electrical guys waiting for the plumbing guys? It's
Yeah.
revolutionary what it's doing. So because you've got GCs all over the spectrum. We got people that are the early adopters that are using this, like you guys, fully, and we got most of the GC world is still kind of dipping their big toe in the water, trying to figure out how this is used. What's the key or the secret? How did this come from the C-suite down? Is the field showing this up? Are the owners demanding this stuff? What's the key to success as far as getting a full-blown drone program and getting buy-in from leadership on this?
So yes, first of all, it comes from leadership. Leadership makes a decision. We want to go with this. In our case, Blake was recruited and kind of took it from there. I think it really starts with creating a vision. And if you don't know what your vision can look like or what you want to do, I would say you could get a consultant or recruit somebody that can help you with it. In our case, I started as our first employee under Blake, and then kind of started running it with it. And then pretty quickly, I started seeing champions in the field. So people that are somewhat tech savvy, they like what they see, they want more of it, and they seem to be more hungry for that data. So you kind of find those people, and then as you kind of get a proof of concept of like, hey, this thing works, this superintendent is using it on this job, he loves it, like put him in front of a group of people or in front of all your superintendents and let him show others, because that convincing power is so much stronger when it's somebody that is like in the same role, for example. So internally, that really helps, and also just showing people this is what you can do with the data, not just, hey, we're capturing, but also trying things out, talking to superintendents. What data do you need? What stage of the project do you need certain data in? Like if you're in dirt work, you don't necessarily need 360 cameras, so you got to tailor the capture to also the stage of the project, I think. Because let's say we're closing up a building, we scale down the aerial flights maybe, but we ramp up the 360 walks because there's more to be done inside. So just really finding tailored solutions for your field teams, and bringing them along in it.
And do you even need someone that's technologically savvy an old school superintendent, if you show them these tools and they have their own aha moments, whether they like technology or not, once they have that aha moment, it's much easier.
Yeah, I think it's good to have somebody that can troubleshoot, somebody that knows how to work well with computers, but it depends on what you need. If you just need aerial maps every week, you could like sub it out to a third party, for example, like you guys, and then expect a certain product. But if you're not quite if you're not knowledgeable enough to know how you get a good product, for example, our aerial maps, we started with just the RTK module on the drone, but now we are also flying with ground control points so that we can have accurate maps and your data is actually reliable. So it definitely takes some work, and that's usually work that a superintendent or somebody else does not have time for. So I would say it definitely helps if you have somebody in-house that can run with it and then roll out to the organization as it grows and as it gets better.
Got it. How often is there a typical number of times you're flying a site? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it twice a week? What's the typical cadence you're using the drones on a site?
Usually our pilot goes out to a job site once a week.
Okay.
And the jobs that we have the dock drone on, we fly 2 to 3 times a week, kind of depending on demand. We have one building right now, they're closing up the building shell, exterior walls. So we're flying facade flights, for example, twice a week. So that when he's talking to trade partners, he can see you're working over here. This doesn't look right. You got to fix that. So usually once a week for your traditional corner shots, aerial map, and then on demand, you can do more. But the dock really helps with that because you don't have to drive out to that site twice.
Yeah. So you mentioned trade partners. So I keep hearing in this industry, drones, the biggest thing for drones is communication. How do you communicate to all the people that are involved? So you want to talk to me about how How has this helped you guys with communicating to not only your internal team but with trade partners? What's the big difference there?
I think it's been a huge difference. Some of the champions, honestly, that we have on site, they will have Drone Deploy pulled up all day, like whether that is on the main TV, in the TV screen in the trailer, or in their office, and they have trade partners coming in, and instead of pointing at a printed piece of paper, like, hey, I'm working over here, they can actually pull up the map and be like, hey, I'm working over here, and the superintendent can immediately see what the context is, because he can see there's a recent map, usually maximum a week old. He can see what is going on at that spot in the site. So that helps with just questions from trade partners. And on the other hand, too, if we flag things, for us, it's just a screenshot. You paste it in an email, you send it over. Safety AI can be sent out to Autodesk Construction Cloud, so that there's a tie-in, an integration with ACC and Procore, for example, so you can roll stuff out that way too, and get it through your regular communication channels on issues or anything you want to assign. So yeah, it's been very, very helpful, I would say.
Is there any site that's too small to not justify drones? Or I know the bigger the site and the more moving parts there are, but in your opinion, now that you guys have been using drones for so long, if you're building a McDonald's or something, a small little 2-acre site, do drones have benefits there as well?
I think so, for that, especially for your site work. So you have an as-built capture of what's underground, because you can, as you're putting utilities in, pipelines, or like sewer pipe, for example, you can. It doesn't matter how big or small your site is. You can get that captured, and it's like an insurance policy for later if you want to know what's where, and just an as-built capture instead of just a marked up piece of paper on where your stuff is at. So I would say yes. And then if the job is smaller, you just scale your hardware. So you just use it, maybe a cheaper drone. It doesn't have to be an RTK drone if you don't want to do it. Like so, in that way, it's scalable. You don't have to have a $25,000 drone sitting on a $1 or $2 million job. So there's it's all in proportion.
And $1 million job could have a $10,000 mistake that could happen just as easy
Yes.
as it. Yeah.
Yep. But I would say it still has benefit. It's just you don't need to capture as long. It's all like the needs on the hardware on the drone are not as demanding, because you don't have to fly as long or as far. So with a cheaper drone, you can easily capture that. It doesn't have to be top of the line.
Got it. So in the construction industry, the big three has always been saving time, saving money, and increasing safety. Do you have examples of how drones have kind of helped on the time saving?
I can maybe show you right now. I have something pulled up there. So this is in Drone Deploy. I can kind of show you. Here you can see, so this is something I flagged together with the superintendent. I was on a call with him, and he's like, hey, can you look at this area real quick? And so what I did was I found the spot where they were working, which that map was only a few days old. And because we have sub-inch accurate maps, we can do our DXF overlays with the utilities from our layout provider, for example. We load that into Drone Deploy, and I could see that there's a water vault that was off compared to where it should have been. So you can see here, I can click on that dimension, and it shows, what is it, horizontal length, about 4 feet off. And it looked awfully close to the curb, and that's what the superintendent called me about. It's like, hey, what's the design intent here? So, and then you can see the green square here. That's where it should have been. Wow. So he immediately he could send this snippet to his trade partner and be like, hey, that vault is off. It needs to move 4 feet. So I think, what's that, August 5th, August 11th. So within a matter, I think over, I don't know if they fixed it right away, but it was flagged pretty quickly right after install. And you can see here that on the right side, I have my comparison slider. This is September 5th. You can see that the vault is closer to where it was intended to be. It's further off the curb. So they moved it. So I think that those are like the small things that help us flag things. You can use it for your fire lanes. anything underground utilities. You can spot differences when you're using overlays. You can compare your shop drawings against the real life situation.
Could this have been a $5,000 mistake? Could this have put the project back a week and caused problems? What's the ramifications of not having caught this early enough?
I think these are small because they are the trade partner's responsibility because he's not following the layout drawing. But it would have been more costly if you would have caught it later. So when you're driving on that fire lane and you see, hey, that thing is too close, and you already have everything landscaped, everything is backfilled. So capturing it early, it does save time and money because you don't have to rework a bunch of stuff. They were able to, they're able to do it before the work is maybe even finished. It obviously depends on the situation. So,
I mean, I'd imagine on a 30 or 40 or 50 acre job site, there are hundreds of problems like that could be rearing their ugly head if no one's keeping an eye on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just the aerial maps are just an additional tool. It's really just a helpful tool to quickly do a visual check of what's going on site.
So how do you guys gauge, you and Blake gauge success of the program? What benchmarks do you use or KPIs to gauge success of a drone program?
I think one of the KPIs is stakeholder utilization across projects. So how many times are they accessing and viewing the platform? That really measures success of like, hey, is the field team actually using it? Are we doing it for nothing? I would say we're never doing it for nothing because it can always be pulled up later. But people that we check if it's internal Pogue users, but also the design team, trade partners. We invite like everybody into that platform to look, even our trade partners. Like, hey, if you want to get in there, have at it. You can get viewer access, and our owners too. So, and usually when I talk to people that are looking a lot at the projects, I'll let them know like, hey, I see you're liking it. Like, what do you like about it? And then I'll also check in on that side. And then we're also just doing total captures. So seeing how many captures are being done. Are they being done on a weekly basis or monthly? And then another thing we do for as far as tracking goes is like earthwork analysis discrepancies. So just reducing rework and also keeping our dirt work trade partner accountable because we can verify on our end like, hey, is what you're supposed to be doing, is that done? It's a quick, like, it's kind of like a survey tool on seeing if something's up to grade or if they're missing something still. So that's how we measure that. And then as we're rolling into safety AI, it's fairly new, but we want our safety issues to go to zero or like to be minimized, right? So that's something that is now trackable because these issues are being created in Drone Deploy, so we can actually measure that data and see where is, like, on what job are the safety issues higher? Do we need to maybe intervene there, send another safety manager over, or safety technician, something like that? So it just gives you tools to make better decisions too.
Are you seeing the earthwork companies? Are these guys doing drone work themselves? Are they relying on you for the data? Are they doing their own drone captures?
The aerial captures we do are not being used by the dirt work contractors. I know some of them, usually at the beginning of the project, we'll see them put out their own ground control point. I think they do fly. Definitely the bigger guys, they're definitely utilizing it. It's such a easy tool if you want to know how far along the project you are, and even just capturing before that you start, do an as-built cap or an as-is capture before you start if you need to return things to existing conditions or anything like that. So I think they're using it. I don't know how much or what the value is on their side.
Got it. All right, where do you see things in your crystal ball? Where are things going? This is moving so fast, as you know. Where are things going in the next year, 2 years, 3 years? What excites you about this, and where things are going?
Let's see. I think the AI has been really interesting seeing that come up in an early stage, and now using safety AI, it's really starting to get adopted more. And I think what I'm most excited for is how fast the processing is going to go. So instead of flagging something, like having to wait 2 to 3 hours for a walk to process and then get a report, it might be closer to instant, so you can also intervene so you prevent risk. I think that's an exciting one. I think the biggest difference also is the impact on building quality, because you got better eyes in the sky, you can see more things, you got better as-built capture, so you can, if you need to start digging again on an existing site, you just pull up drone deploy, less risk of hitting any lines underground, because you can just pull it up and you know exactly where it's at.
Last question. A younger version of you comes in, is getting into the field and wants to start a VDC department. What advice do you give someone that's looking to start a VDC department or enter the drone and 360 camera space? What advice do you give someone new to this?
Start small. Start with a couple projects. Don't roll it out company wide. Find what works and run with that, and then find champions alongside it. So find a suitable job, find somebody that maybe is tech savvy, and then use that job. It doesn't necessarily need to be a smaller job, but use the right people on implementation so that you can then also showcase to the rest of your you can showcase to the rest of your team, and then get better adoption across the board, because people get buy-in based on what they see. Because if you show something that doesn't work, then nobody wants to run with it. Or if it's hard, or if it's I think you gotta keep it stupid simple.
Yeah.
That's what really helps it succeed, because nobody wants to work with something they have to fight over.
Yeah. And build some internal champions. There are some people out there that, once they see it and start using it, they'll never go back to the old way of doing it, and they'll brag about this to all their other coworkers and help spread the word.
Yep. And also, for your leadership buy-in, bring them along the journey as well. Give them data that they can use, so that they also are able to push like their teams to start utilizing it, because it's valuable data for them too. It's not just a line item that gets them a project, but it's also going to give them insight. For example, our project executives or our VPs, they will look at drone deploy and they just want to have a quick overview of like, hey, where is this job at, without having to drive over there. So that stuff, like giving them access really to drone deploy and walk by their office, like, hey, do you know we have this? Look at it. I'll give you access to all projects. You just have a high level overview, and we see more buy-in on that end too. So
that's great.
That really helps.
Good. All right. Anything else you want to add before we wrap things up?
Let's see. No, I think we're
good.
We're good.
Well,
what do you think?
That was easier than you thought it would be.
It's only 40 minutes. So.
Yeah, that was great.